Ну, у меня, от ноутбука.
Так, все, запись есть, поехали.
Good evening. My name is Natalia Kutelia. The presentation will be in English language today. I work at the University of Applied Sciences Würzburg-Schweinfurt. It's a technical state university. And the content of today's presentation will be, the first topic will be location. Then I will talk about the program, especially our English taught programs on a bachelor and on a master level. Then we will talk about the requirements, deadlines, procedures, and so on, so that you know how to get into the university. Then we will briefly talk about financial aspects, fees, scholarships, student jobs, cost of living, and some organizational issues as well. I will explain you what DHWS has to offer you, which services we provide, and then some words about student leisure activities, and at the end, I will show you perspective after studies. So let's start. DHWS is located in the state of Bavaria. It is one of the most beautiful states in Germany. And it is very close to airport of Frankfurt and also to Nuremberg. We have two campuses in Würzburg and in Schweinfurt, and the distance between them is around 40 kilometers. But don't worry, if you study in Würzburg, you don't have to go to Schweinfurt. And if you study in Schweinfurt, you don't have to go to Würzburg. So you study only in one city. The difference between Würzburg and Schweinfurt is huge. That's why I would like to show you the main difference between these towns. So Würzburg is a bigger one. The population is around 130,000 people. It is the city of students because there are 3 universities in this city. And it has a lot of places of interest. The ancient Marienberg Fortress, very beautiful Würzburg residence, and so on. So it's a touristic place. And if you are in the city, you see a lot of groups with tourists around from every country of this world. And so it's a lot of fun to live in Würzburg and to study here. Our students are really very, very happy here. Schweinfurt is a bit different, so it's not touristic at all. The population is smaller. It is a quiet town, but it has some other advantages, like there are about 60,000 companies in Schweinfurt or very close to Schweinfurt. So it's very industrial town, and big national and international companies are here, so that it has a huge advantage for students who would like to work during studies or after the studies. So there are a lot of jobs in Schweinfurt. So this is the main advantage of Schweinfurt, and that's why almost all our technical engineering programs, they are situated in Schweinfurt, so that the connection to companies is very close. Some facts about the university. As I said, it is a state university. It has more than 200 years of history. We have 2 campuses, as I said, and we even now have one overseas campus. It is in Amman, in Jordan. And in total, we have more than 9,000 students, and we have a very big share of international students. So it's 2,700 international students from more than 100 countries. We're very proud to be very international university, so we cooperate with more than 240 partner universities around the globe, and we are very experienced in this field. In total, we have 10 faculties and more than 50 bachelor and master programs. So very briefly, the history. So many years ago, it started as a polytechnic school. Then the campus in Schweinfurt in Würzburg was built. And 3 years ago, the university was renamed. So previously the name was Fachhochschule Würzburg-Schweinfurt, and now it is Technical University, and that's why the name is THWS, so Technical University of Applied Sciences Würzburg-Schweinfurt. So this is the overview of our 5 fields of excellence: design, social sciences, business and economics, languages, and like nature, IT, mathematics, engineering programs. I will talk about them in detail. So now you see the overview of our programs in German language. So the first 5 are on the faculty of IT, so computer science, business information systems, e-commerce, digital society, and information security. Then we have a lot of programs regarding sustainability or energy systems and so on, and a lot of engineering programs like mechatronics, mechanical engineering, robotics, and so on. We also offer architecture and civil engineering, and the newest program is civil engineering, digital design, and construction. Then we have 5 programs on a business and economics faculty. So it's media management, business administration, business analytics, digital rescue management, and the newest program, which started last year, it's culinary and wine tourism. Because Würzburg is situated in a wine region, that's why the idea of this study course. 2 programs which can be considered to be design, so it's architecture and communication design. And then 2 programs in social sector, healthcare management and social work, and specialized translation. We also offer master programs in German language. As you can see, the programs are more or less the same what we offer on an undergraduate level, so on a bachelor level. And I would like to talk about our programs in English language, because there is something special about them, especially on a bachelor level. So right now we offer 9 programs: international management, business and engineering, our very popular program, logistics, mechatronics, robotics. This program, electrical engineering and information technology, this program will start this year for the first time in English language. So in German, it started many years ago, but in English, it will start this year for the first time. Then mechanical engineering, applied mathematics, and applied polymer engineering. So all these programs, they are free of charge and they are offered completely in English language. So you don't need to know German in order to get a study place in one of these programs. But I will talk about the requirements a bit later in detail, but as I said, it is possible to complete this program completely in English language. So on a master level, we offer business and engineering, artificial intelligence, international social work with refugees and migrants. It's also a very popular program, managing global dynamics, and 2 MBA programs. So MBA programs, they are not free of charge because German government doesn't pay for MBA programs. So students have to finance this program themselves if they want. But we only offer 2 MBAs, so it's international business and management of business transformation. All other programs are free of charge, so without any tuition fees. Right now, I showed you our programs in English language on a bachelor level, and we call them twin programs because all these 9 programs are offered in 2 languages, in English and in German. And the content of this program is exactly the same, only the language of instruction is different. So you can start one of these 9 programs in English, and you can then as soon as you achieve level B2 in German, you can switch to a German taught program without changing the program. Or for example, if you know German, you can start in German language and you can later switch to an English taught program without changing the program. So you will have the same content, but you can mix the languages. And for example, if you will do half of the program in one language and half of the program in another language, you can additionally get a twin certificate, which will prove that your study was bilingual. It is an advantage as soon as you will start to look for a job, because it will prove that your level of German and English is not only basic, but you know all the professional terminology. So this is how it works. You see on the screen now 7 semesters. This is the regular length of study, 7 semesters. And you switch, you start in, let's say, in English, and then you switch later to German, or you start in German and then you switch later to the opposite language. It is an option. It's not a must. It is just a big, big advantage for students so that they can use this opportunity. We are the only university in Germany who offers this flexibility in terms of languages. For this idea, many, many years ago, 2014, we got an innovation prize and an award for this innovative idea. So, as you can see on the left side of the screen, most of the programs, they are offered in Schweinfurt, and only 2 programs offered in Würzburg. So in Würzburg, it's Applied Polymer Engineering and International Management. You might know what numerus clausus is, I guess. If not, numerus clausus means that the program is limited by the number of students. So not everyone can get a study place. So for 8 programs, if you apply in the right time with right documents, you will definitely get a study place. But we cannot guarantee it for international management because of these numerous clauses. So in order to get a study place in international management, you have to have a very high grade in your school living certificate or university education if it is required for your case. We will talk about this later. So I will repeat my idea. For international management, your GPA plays the biggest role. For all other programs, your GPA doesn't play any role. You will get a study place in any case. But if you will then finish the university, the study program, it depends on you, because so it's very easy to get a study place, but it's never easy to study. Okay. Our university is also, let's say, understands how modern world works, and that many, many students would like to get a German degree, but they cannot come to Germany because of visa restriction or any other reasons. That's why we also started to offer online programs. So for online programs, you don't have to come to Germany. And right now we offer 3 of them. They are not free of charge, but they are not expensive. So if it is an option for you to study online, maybe it is worth to learn more about these online programs. So right now, 3 programs: engineering science, 7 semesters, health and environmental psychology, also in English, 7 semesters, and software engineering. Software engineering is in English and in German, so you need to know both languages. Now let's talk about the requirements. First, for German programs. So the most important thing, you have to have the entrance qualification for German universities. In German it is Hochschulzugangsberechtigung. So this is the most important thing. Like, if you don't have this entrance qualification, there is no chance you get into a German university. So it means For Ukrainians, school leaving certificate after 11 years, and then 1 year of education at a university. It must be full-time. If it's online studies, it is okay, but it must be still full-time. So on your document must be written that it was in full-time and not, so the mode of study. So it must be denna and not zaochna, or yeah. Or if you completed your school education and then you didn't go to the university, but you are in Germany, for example, or you will go to Germany, then you can complete Studienkolleg. Studienkolleg, it doesn't matter in which state. If you're in Bavaria, it must be, or it could be Coburg, for example. If you don't know German and you would like to study in English, you might go to a private Studienkolleg. For example, we cooperate with BIC in Berlin, but it's a private one and it's not free of charge, so it's pretty expensive. Anyway, if you are not from Ukraine or you study in any other country, in Poland or in Hungary, or it doesn't matter where, some other requirements might apply. That's why I recommend you to check the entrance qualification on the website of UniAssist. So this is the most reliable platform. It is available in German and in English language, and you can very easily check if you are eligible or not to study at German university. So this is the first requirement. And then you also need to prove your language. For German programs, you need to prove that your level of German is on a level B2. On the screen, you see the certificates which we accept. And like Bavarian universities are allowed to require only B2. All other states must require C1. This is the difference. But to be honest, it is really not very easy to study if your level of German is only B2. That's why your aim must be to improve your German as quickly as possible, so you can get into the university with B2, but you need to understand that sometimes it is not enough. Maybe for IT programs and for engineering, it is okay, but if it's a business or media management or something like this, or social work, it might be not enough for you. But this is the minimum requirement. So what else? For some programs, it is also required to have a pre-study internship. It could be 6 or 12 weeks, like for architecture, civil engineering, digital rescue management, social work, and healthcare management. Only for these programs, pre-study internship is required. And we also have 2 programs where you have to pass the entrance exams. So it's for architecture and communication design. For all other programs, you do not need to pass any entrance exam. You just apply with your documents online. So I hope it's clear. And now we talk about requirements for English taught programs. The entrance qualification is the same, exactly what I explained for German taught programs. So it doesn't depend on a language of instruction. So it's the same. But in this case, you need to provide an English proof, not German, but English. So it can be TOEFL, it can be IELTS, it can be Duolingo, for example, with minimum of 100 points. Or if you completed your study, your school or your university in English, it is also a proof. Then, I told you that actually you can study completely in English, but there is one small, I need to explain you something. That like even if you study completely in English, you still need to prove A2 level of German, but not when you apply. So you can apply with zero knowledge of German, but after 1 year of study at our university, so after 2 semesters, you need to prove that your level of German is on a A2 level. This is not a high level, but still you need to prove it. You can, for example, attend our German courses at the university. So in the first semester, you get A1 level. In the second semester, you get A2 level. This is how our students do it. but you have to know that you need to learn German in the first year if you come with zero knowledge. There is only one exception, and it is again international management. So this is the only program where A2 is required right away and not after 1 year of education. So if you would like to apply for international management, you need A2 together with B2 level of German. So by the end of September of this year, if you apply in this year. Then there are some other requirements for our English programs, but not for all of them, but for 4 of them. So for robotics, mechatronics, mechanical engineering, and electrical engineering and information technology. For these programs, for English programs, you need test AS or SAT. And in SAT, you need 1050 points, or if it's test AS, you need to get at least 100 points in core test and 100 points in engineering module. If you would like to study these programs in German language, as I told you, we offer these programs in both languages, you do not need test AS or SAT. It's a bit confusing, but it is how it is. So for English programs, you are required to have these additional tests. If you study the same subject in German language, you do not need test AS or SAT. If you have IB diploma, for example, and then you need to understand how it's combined and on which level you have to have which subjects and so on. It's a bit complicated, so I recommend you to Google recognition of the IB diploma in Germany, and you will have all these details. Or as I mentioned previously, you just go to the website of UniAssist, and then you see all these criteria, and you understand exactly if you have the eligibility, which one, the direct or a general or subject restricted admission and so on. So there are so many details regarding IB diploma. Now I will explain you how the application procedure is at our university. You can actually apply for at least for our bachelor programs only in winter semester. So it is only once a year. And so in April, it will start. The application portal will be open from the 1st of April. And right now, the application to UniAssist is already open. So our university requires UniAssist. So the first step will be you apply to UniAssist. And there you will get a document called VPD, and then you register on our THWS online application portal from the 1st of April. And this is where you upload your VPD from UniAssist, together with all other documents which are required. And here I would like to point out that the application for our English program, it is closed on the 15th of June. So if you would like to apply after 15th of June, it is not possible, and you again can apply in a year. That's why it is very important to apply by 15th of June, but it is only registration. So you don't need to have all the documents by 15th of June, but you must be registered. So this is very important. You can register on the 1st of April, and then let's say you get your VPD or you get your school living certificate or university transcript of records in June or in July or even in August. It is not a problem at all. You can still upload the missing documents, but the registration must be done by 15th of June. For English programs. For German programs, the deadline is 15th of July. So after you upload all the required documents, we will check the documents and you will get a letter of admission. You have to confirm that it is okay, you would like to study, so you confirm your study place, and then you start your enrollment process. For enrollment process, you need some more documents like health insurance and so on. And as soon the enrollment is done, you can start your study on the 1st of October. So this is how it works at our university. Once again, about the deadlines, because there is so much confusion about them. So you need to register on our application portal for English programs from the 1st of April till the 15th of June. And later you can upload documents. So it is possible. For German programs, the application period starts on the 1st of May and it is till the 15th of July. There are two exceptions if you would like to study architecture or communication design because of exams. You need to apply earlier, so they have different deadlines. So you have to check the website when exactly is the deadline for application. Our like a bachelor study usually takes students 3.5 years, and the internship is obligatory at our university for all programs, no exception. So one semester you have to do the internship. Usually it is 5th or 6th semester. Some students, they have student jobs, or they have, I don't know, families or whatever, so it's not a problem at all. You can combine everything with everything, but maybe your bachelor study will then take a bit longer, so not 3.5 years, but 4 years or 4.5 years. So it's not a problem. You're allowed to study up to 10 semesters at the university. So it's nothing special. Me, myself, when I was a student, I guess it took me 4 or 4.5 years to complete my bachelor, because I was working all the time for like the whole study. For master study, it usually takes 1.5 years. And also you see the academic calendar. So we have winter semester and summer semester. Winter semester starts on the 1st of October and it goes till 14th of March. First you have lecture periods, then you have exams, and then you have semester break. So in winter you have one month semester break. So right now our students are on vacation. Then on the 15th of March, the summer semester starts and it goes till the end of September. So the same here. First you have lecture periods, then you have exams, and then you have semester break. So students have 2 months of vacation, the whole August and the whole September. So in total, in a year, you have 3 months of holidays. As I said, we are a state university. That's why we do not charge any tuition fees. There is an exception. I mentioned already our online programs and our MBA programs. They are not like paid by the government. That's why students have to pay for these programs by themselves. We, as all German universities, we have registration fee depending on the campus. So if you study in Würzburg, it is around 170 euros per semester. If you study in Schweinfurt, it is around 114 euro per semester. In this price, the travel ticket is included for all means of transportation in the city, so for buses and for trams, the whole semester. So students do not pay for transportation. Living costs, it is more or less the same in every city in Germany. Officially, it is 992 euros per month, but it depends on your lifestyle. So it depends how much your accommodation costs. Sometimes it is 300, sometimes it is 500. So it depends what you will find. Health insurance is more or less the same. If you are under 30 years old, it is around 150. If you are older than 30, then it is more expensive. Because we are a state university, we do not charge tuition fees, but we do not offer scholarships, at least the university itself. There are many other opportunities, like for Ukrainians who are here with paragraph 24, you are allowed to get BAföG, but it also depends on like if you got an education in Ukraine or not, and on your financial situation and so on. So anyway, only for Ukrainians with 24 paragraph, it is possible to get BAföG. For all other students, it is not possible without German citizenship. If you are a student at our university and you study successfully 1 year and you have really very high grades, only then you can like apply for a scholarship by third institution like DAD scholarship or some others. Then you might get a scholarship, but only if your grades are really very high and not from the very beginning, but after 1 year of education here. If you are from DSD school, it's a German school, only in this case you could get a scholarship from the first semester till the end of the second semester. So for 1 year, and it is around at least 500 for our university. It is even 700 every month the first year. If you are from DSD school, please check the website of Bybits and you can apply for this scholarship. The majority of our international students, they just have student jobs. It is okay to combine work and study here in Germany. So if you are from non-European country, you can work up to 140 days full-time per year or up to 280 days if it's part-time. If you work at the university, these days do not count. If you are here under paragraph 24, then you can work as much as you would like. There is no limit, except the limit as for Germans, for example, 20 hours per week. Right now, the minimum wage is around 14 euros, and the majority of students, they work for so-called basis. It is tax-free minimum wage. Right now, it is 603 euros. And usually students have very simple jobs like a waiter in a cafe, and later, after they got some experience and knowledge, they have very good jobs, especially in Schweinfurt. And part-time jobs can be found basically everywhere on the university. We have our own website for jobs and like everywhere in the city where you see announcements. Accommodation is a bit tough topic because like there are more students than rooms. And that's why you have to be very quickly, when you get your letter of admission, you have to apply immediately. Only then you have a chance to get a room like from a student dorm, which is ruled by Studentenwerk. And this kind of accommodation is really very good in Germany because it is very close to the university, very good rooms with furniture, with everything. In Germany, everyone lives alone in a room, so it is even not allowed to share a room. So you cannot live with your friend together in one room, at least not in a student dorm of Studentenwerk. And as I said, the demand is just huge, and that's why you have to be very quickly in applying. On our website, you find all these links, where to apply, how to apply, all the explanations, all the links. If you will not get a room, then you have to check the rooms on a private flat market, because you need to find accommodation. If you come to Germany to study, you actually need a student visa. And for student visa, you need a blocked account with almost 12,000 euros on this account, or you have to provide a finance guarantee by a third party. It's called Verpflichtungserklärung. It is in case you need a visa. So the main number of Ukrainians are here on a paragraph 24. And like with this paragraph, you do not need a student visa. So you can study at a university with this paragraph. As far as I know, it is valid only till March 2027. How it will be after this day, nobody knows right now. That's why now you can come with this paragraph, and in this case, you don't need any blocked account. But every student is obliged to have a health insurance. It costs around 150 euros per month. And so it's not possible to be a student without health insurance. But it's a good thing because then you can go to any doctor and you don't have to pay for your visit. University offer an orientation program, of course, because students, they have so many questions. The system of education is so different in Germany, and everything like is a huge challenge for international students. That's why we offer orientation weeks in July, where my colleague help a student with enrollment process, with all the questions, how to open bank account, how to find accommodation, how to do this and that. So she's there for you in July. And then the rest of the program is in September. And she helps with all the administrative matters and study regulations. She also is giving German culture training so that you know where the difference is, how to become friends with Germans, how to understand German culture, how to avoid problems as well. And during studies, you have a lot of master classes, a lot of cultural activities, and also visits to industrial companies so that you are connected to the companies while studying. We also offer German language courses, all levels, and also additionally German for engineers and business German. The price is different. Sometimes some courses are without any fee, so zero. Sometimes it is 285. It depends on our funds, if we get funds from the state or not. And also the intensity is different. Sometimes we not sometimes, but in August we offer intensive courses, and during semester we offer semester courses. Here I would like to mention our intensive language course, which we offer on the level B2. So one course is English course and another course is German B2 course. So it means if you have B1 level till July of this year and you would like to study at our university, you can register for one of these courses depending on your study program or on your knowledge of language, and you can do this online course. It is very intensive and the exam is in Schweinfurt. As far as I know from my colleagues, this year these courses will be free of charge. So they are free for all students who apply in July for these courses. And if you will do this course in August and in September, if you will pass the exam in Schweinfurt, and you at the same time in summer you get your letter of admission, then you can start your study on the 1st of October. So it means that if you fulfill the requirements, all requirements except the language, you can apply at our university and get a letter of admission. And then you start your intensive language course. You do your exam in September. And if it is successful, you start your study on the 1st of October. I hope this is clear, because sometimes students are very confused because they think that you have to apply with all the documents, including language. So it's not the case. You actually submit your language certificate by the end of September. So by the end of September, you are not required to submit your language certificate. That's why this offer is very useful for students who have all the documents except the language. So if I was not clear enough, please ask me once again about this intensive course. I think it's a very good idea because, as I said, they will be free, so you don't have to pay for them. I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation that we have very high network on partner universities. So we offer partnerships with more than 240 universities. It means that if you are a student of our university, you can go for one semester abroad It depends on you where you go. You can go to Spain or to United States, to England, to Finland, to Japan, and so on. When I was a student, I went to Spain also to a partner university, and I could improve my knowledge of Spanish. I learned the mentality of Spain and people, and so it's actually a great opportunity to learn more during studies. So what the university offers you? Our professors have not only theoretical knowledge, but very practical knowledge and experience. So we also invite experts from industry and business who come to our university and give lectures to our students. You have to do your practical internship the whole semester, so it is integrated in the study and it's a must. You also have a big share of laboratory and seminar practice because it is a university of applied sciences, so you need to know how to apply your knowledge. And we also offer field trips to companies and industrial sites. If you are a good student, you will be offered to write your bachelor thesis in a company. So you will work in a company for one additional semester. You will write your bachelor thesis for the company, and you will get paid during your work in this company. And usually, if this is your path, you will get a job offer right away. So you don't even need to look for a job. And we also have a career service in both languages, in English and in German. Both are free of charge, and students can learn how to successfully apply, how to write CV according to German standards, how to behave in job interview, how to pass assessment center, and so on. Our region, Bavaria, is very safe. So students can feel very well in the region, and they don't have to worry about like safety issues. Maybe if you are a sport fan, you know who is Dirk Nowitzki. So I just want to mention that he is from Würzburg, so our celebrity. Students have very bright variety of activities, what they can do during their studies. For example, university sport, there are a lot of museums, exhibitions, they travel a lot. We offer here very big amount of wine festivals because we are in a wine region. We also have a lot of music festivals and events. And in Schweinfurt and Würzburg, we have a beach, so we have walking tours and so on. So it's not boring to live here and to study here. These are the pictures of our students during various activities in Würzburg or in Schweinfurt or in some other places. And my last slide for today, I would like to mention the perspective after studies. So still, Germany is a country with actually the lowest youth unemployment in whole Europe. After you graduate from the university, you will get 1.5 years visa to find a job, and you are allowed to work during this period. Schweinfurt is a city with one of the highest job densities in Germany, so there are more jobs than people in Schweinfurt. There are a lot of industrial companies with a lot of jobs in Schweinfurt. And for students, it is just perfect because they get a lot of student part-time jobs in Schweinfurt during their studies. And these connections and these experiences help students later to get a job after their graduation. What we offer as a university is a practice-oriented education. I mentioned already obligatory internship, projects with companies during the studies, a lot of labs, and so on. Also, in the building of our university, we organize a job fair. It's called Praxis Forum, where students get connected to the companies which visit our university during this job fair. And I mentioned already that we have free career service where we help students to prepare them for life after the studies. So how to find successfully a job. And my last slide, since I work in international office and I was previously responsible mainly for students from Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and so on, I still do this part of a job. That's why I also have Instagram account, which is in Russian language. You can follow this account if you would like, and you can get some information which you will not find on the official website or on our official Instagram accounts. For these texts, they are based on my experience as an international student from Ukraine, like my own experience, and also my experience as a person who works with students every day. So we have like Russian account on Instagram. We also have our English account, which is international.thws. We also have our main German Instagram account, and our website is also in different languages. Our website is in German, in English, and in Russian as well. I'm sorry we do not have a website or Instagram in Ukrainian language. It is just not possible to offer in all languages. You can, if you have any questions, you can email me all, like whenever you have a question, or you can call me, you can write me in WhatsApp. Now I'm at the end of my presentation. I would like to thank you for your attention. Now I will answer the questions if you have some questions, and I would like to say that I will be very happy to see you at our university in Würzburg or in Schweinfurt. We have a lot of students from Ukraine studying here, and they are very satisfied, and many of them graduated already and have very good jobs and very good companies. Okay. Now I need to understand how I can. Okay. Please tell me what additional documents are needed to enroll in the mechatronics program when transferring from an H+ university to the same program after 1 year. Timur. So, you know, you mentioned the word transferring. I would not call it transferring, because actually you're applying. Because if you have like 11 years of education plus 1 year of mechatronics, it's not transferring, it is applying. That's why you just apply for the first semester of our university. I explained already how you do it, how is the procedure. And if you miss this information, tell me once again, I will show you the slide. But anyway, the deadline for registration is 15th of June. And you have to first get VPD from UniAssist. And second, you need to apply at our university by the deadline and then upload your documents. Your documents will be like VPD from UniAssist, your school living certificate, your transcript of records of successful 1 year of education. So it means 60 credits. So these documents plus English proof, one of the documents which we require, and because you would, as I understood, you would like to study in English. For mechatronics, you also need Test US or SAT. But English proof and SAT or Test US is only required for September, so not for application, but for enrollment. These are two different totally different processes. First, you apply for your study place. As soon as you get it, only then, by the end of September, you need to provide English test and also test US or SAT. So I hope I answered this question clearly. I have a question regarding the English language courses B2. It was mentioned that the course is free of charge for some students. Could you please confirm if I understood this correctly? So we have Campus Sprache, so it's another department. So last time I talked to my colleagues from this department, they told me that this year the intensive English B2 course and intensive German B2 course will be free of charge. So this is what I learned from my colleagues. But of course, I mean, I don't know, something might happen, so I cannot guarantee you 100%. The only way to to get this confirmation is to register for this course when the registration is open. Usually, the registration is open on the 10th of July. But the information on the website will be available maybe already in May or in June. So if you check the website and you see this offer, and you see also the conditions, so it will be written that this course is free of charge, then you know exactly it will be free of charge. But so yes, you understood it correctly. But please check the website when this information will be officially on the website. Right now, it is not there because it's too early. Do you offer German for engineers, business German, and how well are they aligned with engineering curricula? So they are not a part of curriculum. These courses are separately, but I know that, for example, business English and is part of curriculum because I've heard from colleagues that many students, even they speak very good English, and they do not pass this exam because they can talk, but business English is something different. So this is what I know, that it is a part of curricula, but business German and business German for engineers, it is not part of curricula. It is just offered. The same as all levels of German and English are also offered, and the students check if like the hours, the study load, or like the conditions are fine for them. If yes, they subscribe for this course. If not, they skip the course. So that's why I cannot tell you how well it is aligned with curricula. Sometimes you could not attend some courses because in this time you have your program courses, so it's just not possible to do same or two things in the same time. So you have maybe to skip to the next semester and so on. But you have a flexibility, so you must also check what is possible and not possible in the semester, and maybe it's a good idea to do it in the next semester. Does the university assist in finding a placement for the mandatory internship semester? We have a website where students find all the offers for internships. Also in Germany, there are so many such websites, and actually it is not very difficult to find an internship because you just have to check the offers. If you like one offer, you just prepare your CV and motivation letter and you send the documents. If it was good, or if the company likes you, the company will invite you and like for a job interview. If the job interview was successful, you will sign the contract and then you will start your internship. But so you ask if the university assists in finding. So we assist in form of providing the website with the offers, and also what I mentioned before, that we teach students how to write CV. according to German standards, how to behave in job interview, how to pass assessment center, because sometimes you even need to pass the assessment center for internship or for job. So we teach you, but we do not look for a job or for internship for you. I have a question regarding, okay, so I had this question previously. Is it possible to write a final thesis directly at a partner company? Well, we do not have partner companies. We have partner universities, and all other companies, they are just companies. Usually it happens like this. First, for example, you can find a job as a student, and you have like you work in a company. And if you if the company likes you and they have some offers for internship, you can do an internship there. If you are satisfied with the company is satisfied for you, they will offer you a topic, and then you again stay in the company, you write your thesis, and you work for this company, and everything is paid. So you will get money for your internship or for your thesis. And if the company is still satisfied with you and you as well, they might offer you a job. So this is how it happens in Germany many times. But not only like this, sometimes they just like companies write that we are looking for a student for topic this and that. And let's say in your studies, you focused in your studies on this topic, then of course you can apply for this position, and then you will write your thesis in a company. So there are so many ways how you can get into a company. So it's not a partner company, it's just a company. For example, in my case, when I was a bachelor student, I just had a very simple job in a company, in an office, and but they wanted to. I studied kind of marketing, and they wanted, and because of like my knowledge of Ukrainian, Russian, and so on, and they wanted to enter into this market, I could do for them a competitors analysis, for example, and that's why they offered me to write thesis in their company. So, and I didn't expect this, but it was due to my knowledge of the languages. So there are so many different ways how you can do this. Are there opportunities to work as a student assistant in labs? Yes, like the international office is looking for students for jobs. Professors are looking for students for jobs and so on. But I mean, nobody can guarantee you that you will start to study at our university and there will be a student assistant position. So it depends. It depends on the current situation and needs. But yes, we employ a lot of students. Could you please tell me if 1 year of any university or a German one is suitable for admission? Is 11 years of Ukrainian school and 1 year of Ukrainian university suitable? Yes, this is the normal way. So you complete your school, 11 years in Ukraine, plus you study 1 year at a Ukrainian university. The only thing, it must be full-time. So the mode of study must be full-time, even if it is online studies. If it is distance, so заочная форма, then in this case you need 2 years of education. So only this you have to take care of. And that's the university. Okay. How does the logistics programs incorporate modern warehouse automation trends? Well, I cannot answer you this question because I do not represent this faculty. If you're interested, you can write an email to the professors of logistics. So every program has its own contact person, and you can ask any question regarding regarding the program directly. I can help you with documents, but I cannot help you with such specific questions. Яка ситуація з гуртожитками? Чи варто подавати заявку в Студентнетворк одночасно з подачею документів? The problem is that you cannot do this at the same time because you can only apply for a room at Studentnetwork after you got your letter of admission. So you first need to get the admission, and then with this admission letter, you can apply for a room. Without the admission letter, you cannot even apply, at least for Studentnetwork. So you might apply for a room in other companies, other student dorms, but not from Studentnetwork. What is the ratio of laboratory work compared to theoretical lectures? Well, it depends on a study program. Like, for example, if it's a business program, you do not have lab works at all because there is nothing you can do in a lab. But you have a lot of trips to different countries. You have a lot of like projects with companies, but these are not labs. If you study, for example, plastic engineering or polymer engineering, you have a very big share of laboratory, and they are obligatory. That's why it depends. If I study in German school in Fachoberschule, do I need Fachabitur or Abitur in order to apply? It is, as far as I know, it is sufficient to have a Fachabitur, but it must be in the subject area of the subject area what you would like to study at our university. So, for example, if you studied something like social direction, you cannot study at our university engineering. So it must be the same direction. How often do lecturers or groups switch to German during discussions in English taught classes? Actually, it doesn't happen at all. So if the subject offered in English, it will be only in English. They will not switch to German. And if it's offered in German, it will be in German. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Is it possible to apply to the UniAssist program without having a university transcript and edit after receiving it? How long does it take for UniAssist to check this? It's a very good question, but to be honest, it doesn't make any sense to apply to UniAssist without university transcript, because without university transcript, they will issue you a VPD, which will say that you are not allowed to study at a German university. So from my perspective, it doesn't make any sense, and it makes only sense when you have already all your documents. Then you apply, and then you will get your VPD. How long does it take? It takes up to 6 weeks. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks or 3 weeks, so between 2 and 6 weeks. And of course, I understand your question, because you will get your university transcript only in end of June or even in July, and that's why you are worried that you will get VPD too late and so on. But it's not too late, because as I said, you have to register by 15th of June for English taught programs, but you can still upload your missing documents like VPD or your university transcript in July or even in August. So it's not a problem at all for us. You might also try to apply to UniAssist without university transcript, but as I said, they cannot proceed your documents without university transcript. Okay, so it's the same. So maybe for exchange, if my university is not a partner, how does the free mover option work and what are the requirements? So you can apply as a free mover at our university for the program which is similar to your program, but our faculties need to check your documents and like confirm that they will like allow you to study at our university. So they need to check your application and they decide whether yes or no. Because sometimes it just doesn't make any sense if you do not fill the requirements or it just doesn't fit. That's why you just go to our website, you check this free mover option on our website and read the requirements, because you have to understand how exactly it works, what are the deadlines. Because, for example, now the deadline for the summer semester is over, it was in December and so on. So there are a lot of small things which you need to consider. What is your top advice for an applicant to successfully join your university? Well, there is only one secret. You check the procedure, you understand the requirements, and you do exactly how it is written, step by step. If you have any questions or you're not sure, you write me an email and I will help you with all your concerns. And if I, for example, if I see that with your documents you cannot like successfully apply, I will tell you this right away. You don't need to lose your time. Or another way around, if I see that your documents are okay, you can meet the deadlines, everything is fine, then I will also tell you, like, don't worry, everything will be fine and you will guaranteed get a study place, so you can relax. Can business students participate in international business simulations? Well, if their program have this in their structure, why not? Well, it depends on a study program, on the curricula, and so on. Is it possible to start in English while taking free German courses at the university? Well, if it is one of our 9 English taught programs, you can start in English, but the semester German courses, they are not free. So the intensive course is free, like this one, which will be in August, it will be free, B2 level. But the semester courses like A1, A2, B1, and so on, they are not free of charge. Usually they cost 285 euros per semester. Only sometimes they could also be free. It depends on our financial situation, if we get some funds from the state. But usually they are not free of charge. Okay, need to find. What is your official policy on using AI tools in studying and assignments? To be honest, I don't know. Do I need a German language certificate if I'm applying for a 100% English taught program? If it is international management program, then you need A2 level of German, even if you will study completely in English. If it is like one of these other 8 English taught programs, you need a A2 level of German after completing the second semester at our university. So this is it's even not our requirement as a university. It is a requirement of like foreigners office. They want students to know basic level of German. That's why they give you 1 year time to get A2 level of German. So you can apply, yes, without any German knowledge, but after 1 year you need to have A2. For international management, you need to have A2 from the very beginning. 1 year in which university, technical or economical, is required to attend a business and engineering program. So it doesn't depend on a university. So it depends on a study program. So the university can be any, especially if it's a state university, but the study course must be technical, so not business. It is much better for you, and it is a requirement to have engineering program for 1 year. But if you we can make an exception if it's an English taught program. So it's an English taught business and engineering program, and you have 1 year of business, it's also fine. But if you are asking me what is better, and you still need to decide where you go, what you study for 1 year, then I highly recommend you to do the technical year. How realistic it is to combine studies with a 10-hour week part-time job? It is very realistic. When I was a student, I combined the whole study, job and study. And all my friends and a lot of students, which I know, they all have jobs for 10 hours or even more. But of course, you need to be very motivated and disciplined and so on, because this is your own responsibility to combine it. Is it possible to switch between different study programs after the first year if a student wants to change their field? It is possible after 1 year, but it is very difficult to do it, for example, after 2 years. Not because the university doesn't want, for university it's okay, but the foreigners office, they don't like this, and they allow students only to switch or to change the programs only once, and only within first 2 semesters or 3 semesters. If you want to do it later, you need to get an approval from them, and sometimes they do not approve. That's why be careful which study course you choose. It will be possible to change, but you might lose, if the program is not similar, you will lose a lot of subjects, and you have, let's say, to do it from the very beginning. If it's similar, you can still get recognized some subjects. So it depends, but it is possible, yeah. And you have in any case, you have to apply from the very beginning with the same procedure, with the same documents, and so on. So it's not just a small change. Can exams be retaken in case of unsatisfactory grade? How many times is retake allowed? I'm not sure. I know that it is possible to improve grades, but how many times it's allowed, I don't know. Anyway, you have 3 opportunities to pass 1 exam. If you will not pass exams 3 times, then you will be exmatriculated. What are the most important deadlines students should be aware of because before the academic year starts or during the initial phase of studies? Well, so the first important deadline is while you're applying, so you need to meet this deadline so that you apply in time. Then you should not miss orientation program because it's very helpful for students. And students sometimes come to my office and complaining because they have a lot of problems and they didn't understand this or that and so on. And I always know that these students didn't participate in orientation program, because we know from our experience, those who participate, they do like not that many mistakes, and they are much better prepared for studies. So orientation program is a must. And then students have deadlines, for example, for registration for exams. In Germany, you cannot write an exam without registration. So you have to register in a specific time frame for exams you would like to write. And then before exams, you will be again given time so that you can change your mind and you can say, okay, I don't want to pass this exam. So you withdraw your registration for exam. Or you leave your registration. So it's up to you, but you always have specific time frames to do this, to do that. And after the exams, or not after the exams, but before the exams, you also have time to re-register for the next semester. It's also a must. So this is another deadline, which matters. Then one important thing, there are some obligations, which exams you must write in which semesters. So many students don't know these regulations and they have some negative surprises. That's why, again, participate in orientation program, because my colleague explained all these deadlines, all these details, and she know all the problems students have. That's why she talks about it. That's why if you participate in it, you will know, and you will not miss the deadline. And sometimes, all important things are communicated through email. But the problem is that many international students, they just don't check their emails and then they miss these deadlines. But in Germany, it's very important to check the deadlines to check the emails from the university. For Twin, how should students plan modules to reach the 50% test requirement and receive the Twin certificates? You know that for to get a bachelor degree, you need 210 credits. So approximately the half of the of credits must be in English, and half of the credits must be in German. And besides, in order to get Twin certificate, your level of German must be C1. Even we require B2 for a German taught program, but for Twin certificate, you must have your German on a level C1. And these specific requirements, you can find them on our website, because they are very clearly defined what you have to do. How does the university support learning German if you start in English? Well, we offer German courses which you can attend. If the temporary protection status 24 changes, will I have to immediately block account and extend? Well, this question nobody can answer right now, because it depends on the policy of Germany, of Foreigners Office. It is not related to university at all, because we, as university, we do not require your status, we do not require a blocked account. So you need this blocked account to get a visa. And visa issues, it is a part of Foreigners Office job, not our job as university. And that's why no university can answer you this question. And when we talk to Foreigners Office, and if we ask this question, Foreigners Office, they cannot answer this question by now, because they don't know what will be the decision. That's why, unfortunately, we don't know. Okay, I guess I answered all the question. I guess.
Так, ну, вроде как немножечко вопросов больше нет сейчас. Давайте прикрепим чуть. А вот здесь. Это новый вопрос?
I see a question in German. Kann ich mich nach dem Berufskolleg Fachhochschulreife anmelden, ohne Studienkolleg zu besuchen? Derzeit mache ich erste Jahr vom 12-jährigen Berufskolleg. Kann ich einfach jetzt anmelden, ohne Studienkolleg zu besuchen? So if you have a Fachhochschulreife, it's so the document will be FOS or BOS. With this document, you are allowed to apply and to get a study place. Yes. So in this case, you do not need a Studienkolleg. So the only thing which you have to check, ask in your Berufskolleg if you will get FOS or BOS certificate. So Hochschulreife. Is Hochschulreife is provided? If yes, then you can apply. If no, and you need to do something to pass some additional exams or to do additional year to get Hochschulreife, then you have to do it. Please ask in your Berufskolleg because they have very different regulations. Okay, so it was the last question, I guess. Yeah.
Якщо не всі запитання відповіли, то все буде закривати. Дякую за гарне відповідь на питання.
Дякую вам за таку можливість.
Да, все, будемо виключатися.